Sa bilis ng panahon at buhay ngayon dahil sa technology, kailangan nating mag-keep up. Pero kahit always busy at hectic, we should always remember the most basic of all things, to always give thanks and appreciate the people around us. And of course, laging i-check ang weather para always prepared. That way, perfect ang araw. Tuloy ang mga plano. Ako po si Jel Miranda, ang inyong ka-online at ka-forever. We welcome you to DOSTv, your most comprehensive, real-time authority on the latest weather updates. Dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, tag-araw man o tag-ulan, hindi nangiiwan kahit sino ka man. Remember that folks, it's DOSTv. Ang DOSTv ay mapapanood ninyo Mondays to Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, dito lang sa www.dostv.ph. At live na rin po tayo sa Facebook at facebook.com/DOSTVPH. Kaya makisabay na rin sa live streaming namin. For today's episode, pag-uusapan natin ang newest innovation ng MIRDC na nakatuon sa pag-develop palalo at pagpapatibay ng iconic na Pinoy jeepney at iba pang public utility vehicles. Kaya abangan yan in just a little while. Pero bago yan, alamin muna natin ang magiging lagay ng panahon for today. Heto ng ating pag-asa correspondent para sa ating ulat panahon.
Thank you, Ms. Jel. Good morning sa iyo at good morning din sa ating mga viewers ng DOSTv at happy Monday po sa ating lahat. Sa ngayon po, ang umiiral na weather system sa ating bansa ay ang Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ na siyang apektado ang Visayas, Mindanao at Palawan. Ito po yung convergence ng hangin na nagmumula sa northeast or hilagang silangan at southeast or timog silangan na siyang nagkakaroon po ng mga kaulapan at nagdadala rin ng mga pagulan at pagkidlat pagkulog. Base po sa ating forecast for Luzon ngayong umaga, kung mapapansin po natin, maaliwalas sa panahon ng nararanasan dito sa parting ilang bahagi ng Northern and Central Luzon. At maging dito rin sa Metro Manila sa ngayon ay maaliwalas naman na panahon ng nararanasan. Kabilang na rin ang ilang bahagi ng Calabarzon. Pagdating po dito sa Bicol Region, maging dito rin sa lalawigan ng Mindoro, Romblon at dito rin sa may Palawan, ay magiging maulap dahil po sa umiiral na Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ. Meron din po silang asahan na mahina hanggang katamtamang mga pagulan at pagkidlat pagkulog. Pagdating naman po dito sa norte, kabilang na ang Cagayan, Isabela and Ilocos Norte, kung mapapansin po natin, medyo maulap sa ngayon dahil naman sa umiiral na tail end ng cold front. O ito yung boundary ng hangin na nagmumula sa northeast at east. So may tendency din po na magkaroon ng mga kaulapan at pag-ulan, pagkidlat pagkulog. Habang dito naman sa Metro Manila, sa natitirang bahagi ng Luzon, asahan po natin may mga isolated rain showers pa rin or thunderstorms na aasahan. Pero take note po, pagdating ng tanghali, magiging mainit pa rin at maalinsangan. Dumako naman po tayo sa ating temperature range for Luzon. Kung mapapansin po natin sa Metro Manila, mainit ngayong araw dahil mainit or dahil maaliwalas nga ang panahon, 24 hanggang 34 degrees Celsius. Dito naman sa Baguio, maglalaro mula 16 hanggang 24 degrees ang temperatura. Sa Tagaytay, 22 hanggang 29 degrees Celsius. And then finally, sa Puerto Princesa, kung mapapansin po natin, maliit lang ang range ng temperature dahil sa ITCZ, 25 hanggang 29 degrees Celsius. Dumako naman po tayo sa ating magiging weather for Visayas and Mindanao. Kung mapapansin po natin, halos buong Visayas and Mindanao ay maulap ang kalangitan sa ngayon dahil nga sa umiiral na Intertropical Convergence Zone. At especially dito sa may parting Eastern Visayas and Central Visayas and Panay Region, maulap na kalangitan sa ngayon ng mararanasan. At dito naman sa may parting Mindanao, sa may eastern portion and northern portions of Mindanao. Asahan din within 24 hours ang mahina hanggang katamtamang mga pagulan at pagkidlat pagkulog. Dumako naman po tayo sa ating magiging temperatura for Visayas and Mindanao. Kung mapapansin po natin for Iloilo and Metro Cebu, maglalaro ang temperatura mula 25 hanggang 31 degrees Celsius. And then finally, sa Metro Davao and Zamboanga City, 25 naman hanggang 32 degrees Celsius. Sa ngayon po, meron din tayong gale warning sa ilang baybayin sa norte dahil sa umiiral na northeasterly surface wind flow or yung malakas na hangin na nagmumula sa mainland Asia. Kabilang na po dyan ang mga baybayin ng extreme northern Luzon sa Batanes, Babuyan, and Calayan Group of Islands. Gayun din sa northern coast ng Cagayan, at maging dito rin sa baybayin ng Ilocos Region, particularly Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan. Ang mga pag-alon po doon umabot from 3.4 hanggang 4.5 meters. So, ibig sabihin po, matataas ito, bawal pumalaot ang mga kababayan natin na nangingisda at yung may maliliit na sasakyang pandagat. And sa ngayon po, kahit wala tayong namomonitor na low pressure area or bagyo sa loob ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility, kung mapapansin po natin, meron tayong series of lows sa labas ng PAR. Ito po ay naka-embed or parte ng Intertropical Convergence Zone. Yung pinakamalapit po sa ating bansa, nasa 1,240 kilometers silangan ng Mindanao. Posible po itong maging bagyo sa ngayon within 48 to 72 hours. Pero tinitingnan pa rin po natin sa ngayon kung ito nga ba ay papasok sa ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Kasi may chance sa ito na lumayo sa ating bansa or may tendency rin na lumapit sa ating bansa. Pero wala pa naman itong direktang epekto within the next 48 hours. Samantala, yung dalawang weather system naman, dalawang low pressure area na mas malayo sa ating bansa, mas mababa ang tsansa na mag-intensify bilang isang bagyo. Pero patuloy po natin itong imomonitor kung sakasakali. Para naman po sa ating sunset and sunrise, si Haring Araw ay mas maagang lulubog sa ganap na 5:28 ng hapon at mas late na sisikat bukas sa ganap na 5:51 ng umaga. At mula pa rin dito sa Weather Forecasting Center ng DOST Pag-asa, ako po si Benison Estareja reporting for DOSTv.
And for an exclusive content na dito nyo lang sa DOSTv makikita, here's our flood and water level advisory.
Magandang umaga, Jel, at saka sa ating mga viewers sa DOSTv. Dam update tayo dito sa mga dams na minumonitor natin sa Luzon. As of 6 o'clock this morning, una natin, Jel, yung Pantabangan Dam. Ito yung dam na sa taas ng Pampanga River Basin. Nakita siya doon sa may Karanglan ng Baisiha. Sa umaga, as of 6 o'clock this morning, meron siyang level na 204.74 meters above sea level. Tumaas siya ng bahagya, 12 centimeters in 24 hours. Yung ating Angat Dam, tuloy-tuloy sa kanyang pagtaas, sa kanyang level ngayong umaga, nasa 202.08 meters. Napansin natin na significant yung kanyang pagtaas, 1.29 meters ang itinaas niya in 24 hours. Pero still, mababa pa rin siya doon sa spilling level. Sa San Roque Dam naman natin, ang ating San Roque Dam, ito yung nakapaloob sa Agno River Basin sa may Pangasinan, San Manuel. Nasa level ngayong umaga na 283.10. Tuloy-tuloy siya sa kanyang pagbaba kasi dati na siyang tumaas, Jel, nung dumaan yung lawin, patuloy siya ngayon sa kanyang pagbaba. Ang ating Magat Dam, ito yung doon sa Isabela, nung dumaan si lawin, ay napuno at nagpakawala. Sa kasalukuyan niyang level ngayong umaga, Jel, nasa 191.79. Patuloy siya sa pagbaba niya ng 0.04 meters sa bahagya ang kanyang pagbaba, dahan-dahan. So, ibig sabihin nito, meron pa mga inflow na papunta sa kanyang reservoir. So, sa ating mga general flood advisories naman, ating inisyo dito sa buong Pilipinas, mapapansin natin dito sa Mindanao, Visayas at southern part of Luzon hanggang Bicol ay meron tayong inisyo. Unahin na natin dito sa Region 9 sa Zamboanga, kung saan may balitang pagbaha noong nakaraang mga araw. Sa Region 10 sa Northern Mindanao, ito yung nasasakupan ng Cagayan de Oro, Iligan, Misamis Occidental, Bukidnon area. Ang ating Region 11 sa Davao, sakop dito ang Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao Oriental, and Compostela Valley. Itong Compostela Valley, Jel, madalas itong bahain kahit na umuulan ng konti lang. Sa Region 12, Suksargen area, sa Region 13, Caraga, si ERMM, mapansin natin na halos lahat sa Mindanao, meron tayong inisyo na flood advisories. And also sa Visayas, kasama na hanggang dito sa Southern Luzon. So mula dito sa Hydromet Division ng Pag-asa, si Danny Flores po ang nag-uulat.
Ano kaya mga proyekto ang hatid ng DOST para sa mamamayang Pilipino? Alamin dito sa DOSTv Flash Report. The Department of Science and Technology, or DOST, through the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, or PCHRD, will provide additional 1,000 RX-box telehealth devices in the country. The rollout was launched during the Science Nation Tour on June 9, 2016, at the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, EO-TAN Hall. The RX box is a telehealth device allowing consultations even from geographically isolated and depressed areas of the country. National Institutes of Health Executive Director Eva Maria Cutionco de la Paz shared that the RX box has 3 important ingredients: identified need, partnerships among experts, and commitment to serve every Filipino. The Science Nation Tour is a nationwide strategy of DOST to promote technological advancement to the Filipino community. Aside from the launching ceremony and commitment board signing, demonstration of RXBox and introduction of its new features were also held. Helping to overcome the challenges in agricultural production and food security, agriculture research specialists from DOST PNRI are developing better varieties of adlai, or jobs tears, which may serve as a substitute to the country's staple food crops such as rice and corn. While just as rich in carbohydrates and protein, adlai is unfortunately not as well known as its cousin crops, except among the indigenous communities. In other Asian countries, adlai is also used to produce flour, coffee, tea, wine, beer and vinegar, among other products. Adlai also has some medicinal properties that can help mitigate the symptoms of allergies, diabetes, and even cancer. Lastly, adlai is also known for its resilience in the face of extreme conditions such as droughts and typhoons. With the unique advantage of gamma radiation, PNRI has been working since 2013 to improve the agronomic traits of adlai by making mutant varieties that yield more grain and mature earlier, while also having shorter heights to make the crops more resistant to lodging during typhoons. Researchers from the PNRI Agriculture Research Section used the Ginampay variety of adlai for mutation breeding in the Institute's experimental field, where the putative mutants are already in their 3rd and 4th generations. The research and development studies currently show promising results, as the putative mutant breeds yielded from 790 kilograms of grain per hectare to as much as 900 kilograms of grain per hectare, which is around 30 to 50% higher than the yield of average crop breeds. Aside from developing mutant varieties, PNRI also seeks to improve the fertilizer, soil nutrient, and water management practices for adlai. The PNRI researchers will continue to develop the adlai crops up to the 8th generation to complete the mutation breeding process.
The Greater Metropolitan Manila area has a long history of natural disasters and extreme weather events. Following the calamity of Typhoon Ondoy in September 2009, which caused about 500 deaths and damage of about 41 billion pesos, the Greater Metropolitan Manila Area Risk Analysis Project was begun. Covering the 16 cities and 1 municipality of Metropolitan Manila, as well as parts of Bulacan, Cavite, and Rizal, the study looked at the hazards of flood, wind, and earthquake. The project is a collaboration between the technical agencies of the Government of Philippines, supported by the Government of Australia Aid Program and Geoscience Australia. The aim of the project has been to give a much clearer understanding of the risks from natural disasters, of where the risks are greatest, and of how the dangers can be reduced. This analysis identifies three main types of potential risk: flooding in the Pasig-Marikina River Basin, severe winds associated with tropical cyclones, and risks from damaging earthquakes from the West Valley Fault. Natural hazard risk analysis involves understanding the relationship between a hazard, the exposure or elements at risk, and the vulnerability of those elements. Risk can be expressed in terms of physical damage, economic loss, or the number of people killed or injured. Information was developed that first built an understanding of how people live and work in the Greater Metropolitan Manila area. The study area included the low-lying areas along Manila Bay and Laguna de Bay, the flood-prone Pasig-Marikina River Basin, the elevated areas in Rizal Province to the east, and the West Valley Fault, which passes north to south through the metropolitan area. LiDAR, light detection and ranging, was the first major set of data to be collected. An aircraft flying over the Greater Metropolitan Manila area used a special laser scanning device to measure the profile of the landform and the heights of such features as trees and buildings. From these measurements, a digital elevation model, or DEM, was constructed. The model gives us an overview of an area that is home to about 12 million people. But where do they live? Where do they work? And what makes them vulnerable to natural hazards? Using the best available data from many sources, a picture of the built environment is developed. Of building density, of population density, of the current land use, of building heights, and of the complex mixture of the age and type of buildings that are present across the metropolitan area. All of the information about the characteristics of exposure that are needed for risk analysis have been gathered and organised into a spatially enabled exposure database. To estimate the vulnerability of buildings exposed to natural hazards, engineering models for different building types were developed. Not all buildings will experience the same level of damage when they are exposed to the same level of hazard. For example, engineered reinforced concrete buildings will, on average, suffer less damage than unreinforced masonry buildings when subjected to the same level of ground shaking. Hence, vulnerability models were developed for different building types to characterise the average economic loss for each building type. Economic damage is complex. Low-cost buildings may be destroyed and be inexpensively replaced, but high-cost, well-constructed buildings may suffer minor damage that is relatively expensive to repair. All of this is reflected in datasets estimating the costs of damage. The relationship between wind and the landscape changes the impact of severe winds on the city. Winds increase in ferocity as they flow over hills, over ridges, and over high ground. Areas such as the open space of the airport, of Manila Bay, and of the riverbanks experience higher wind speeds than built-up areas. Knowing wind strength means knowing how buildings, billboards, and shanties will be affected. The areas of greatest damage can be seen in the mountainous regions in the east and along the escarpment of the West Valley Fault. The steep topography in these areas, combined with the presence of wooden and makeshift structures in the rural areas, are the reason for the high level of damage. Flood projections are calculated from known rainfall figures. Metro Manila has experienced catastrophic flood events along the Marikina Valley and the San Juan River and can expect more. The figures that have been calculated show that there is a possibility of a flood bigger than has been experienced in recent times. The results also show how damaging floodwaters can be expected to move through the city over a period of 48 hours, how high floodwaters will reach, and what the area of inundation will be. Damage is widespread in low-lying parts of the city and adjacent the main river systems. A particularly large damage hotspot occurs in the city of Marikina, where deep floodwaters combine with a high proportion of wooden and makeshift structures, which are easily damaged by flooding. As with winds and flood, the mapping of earthquake events can be related to what is known of land use, and physical and economic damage can be mapped according to where the most fragile forms of housing have been constructed. The population affected can be mapped, and so can the economic damage because of the land use and construction methods. A range of earthquake events were used as the basis for calculations. The hotspots, clearly seen following the West Valley Fault, and areas lining Manila Bay, both the expectation of strong shaking and the high concentration of easily damaged buildings explain this. Risk analysis is employed for locating the areas at risk and quantifying the risk posed by earthquake, severe wind, and flood. We can illustrate this with the example of earthquakes by combining information on the three parts to risk and plotting the quantity of risk. By comparing formal settlements, major commercial areas and informal settlements, we can see how the measure of risk changes. The factors considered are hazard, which describes the likely intensity of an earthquake in that area; exposure, which describes the number and type of buildings that may be at risk to earthquake; and vulnerability, which indicates the expected physical damage and economic loss, which varies from high for makeshift structures to low for reinforced concrete buildings. By identifying those places at greatest risk, we can highlight areas where, for example, modifications to land development or building practices would have most value. By identifying the most at-risk areas, local government units have the opportunity to adapt their planning in new developments and identify those places which, being most at risk, will need early warning of flood danger, early intervention and assistance. The data products that have been produced by the Greater Metropolitan Manila Area Risk Analysis are free and will be readily accessible from the Office of Civil Defence and the Philippines Geo Portal. They will be provided to each local government unit, which can update the data and build their own database for planning, designing and implementing projects, mitigation activities and contingency planning. Flood, earthquake and severe winds will always be a threat to the Greater Metropolitan Manila area. The risk analysis tools help us to understand, prepare for and survive these hazards. Australia stands ready to support the Philippines in this effort. By jointly investing in building the resilience of communities to natural disasters, we can contribute to a safer future for all Filipinos.
Kuha namin yung pagkataon ito na salamat sa DOST. Kasi kung hindi dahil sa kanila, hindi kami lalaki ng ganito. Nung dati, maliit pala kami, parang wala kaming pupuntahan, kumbaga in terms of income. Pero ngayon, dahil doon sa mga equipments na in-offer ng DOST to set up, lumaki, nag-expand kami. So, yung sa income naman sa sales, dati mga 800,000, ngayon umaabot na kami ng hindi bumababa sa 3 million kada taon. Ang malaking bagay na nakakatulong sa amin, naging efficient on our part sa capacity namin, kasi yung tao namin mas mabilis, mas maayos yung kanilang paggalaw, mas mabilis ang transition from one process to the other, at dahil doon, nakakatulong din sa amin para ma-increase yung production capacity pa namin further. At dahil dito sa setup na ito, direct na nakakatulong din sa mga farmers kasi madami yung production namin. Dati mga 2-3 lang yung towns na naging source namin ng ube. Ngayon, hanggang shop, ilang naunin ngayon yung coverage ng source ng raw materials namin. Ngayon, meron na sa mga ibang provinces katulad ng Ilocos Sur, katulad ng Benguet, tsaka hanggang Nueva Vizcaya.
Importante ang transportasyon. Bahagi na ito ng ating pang-araw-araw na buhay. Kaya ganun na lang kahalaga na dapat they should also be tested for safety and roadworthiness. Kaya naisip ng MIRDC or Metals Industry Research and Development Center na magkaroon ng Finite Element Analysis or FEA Design Center. Para magbigay linaw pa sa proyektong ito, makakausap po natin mismo ang project leader nito. Siya po ay may several years of experience in mechanical part design and in performing design of experiment. His main area of expertise is in research and application of new technologies and methods to improve product designing practices. He is a licensed mechanical engineer and is currently a science research specialist too ng prototyping division ng MIRDC. Mga ka-forever, let us all welcome Engineer Ryan Clavecillas. Good morning, Engineer.
Good morning po.
See, once again, from MIRDC, kasama natin ngayon, mga ka-forever. Kanina, meron tayong introduction, bakit naisipan ng MIRDC na gawin itong proyekto na ito?
First is, wala pa kasing safety yung mga local vehicle natin.
Wala.
Opo.
Meaning
Namely-
talagang dumadaan sila sa kalsada
Yes po.
without safety.
Yes po. Actually, hindi sila dumaan sa design engineering.
Okay.
So, using this project and facility, so we evaluated kung gaano pa talaga ka-safe yung ating mga local vehicle such as yung jeep, yung tricycle, AUV, in minibus. Yan po.
Pero gaano nakatagal yung proyekto or itong pag-aaral na ginawa
The
ninyo?
project started in 2013.
Okay.
And then is continuing po siya as of the moment. For the initial results, we have the results for the jeepney. And then to follow po yung mga ibang vehicle natin.
Imagine, ang tagal na ng mga sasakyan na ginagamit natin, di ba? Ang mga jeep, ang tricycle. Mula pa ng mga panahon na yon, wala pa lang pinatutupad na about the safety.
Yes po. Actually, sa other countries,
Okay.
meron tayong mga standards na pina-follow.
Okay.
So, nandito po yung UNEC standards. So, yun po yung naging basehan natin para masabi na safe yung isang vehicle. Opo.
So nakabati tayo international.
Yes po.
Pero locally, wala tayong pinatutupad na
Yes po.
measures.
Opo.
Okay. Safe naman yun. Bakit hindi tayo, wala tayong sariling, kumbaga standard?
Actually, may mga iba-ibang standards kasi per country, per region. So for UNEC, minimum lang yung standard niya. And then for ASEAN, medyo tumaas. So at this point kasi is, hindi pa natin alam kung saan talaga tayo susunod talaga. Kasi meron tayong mga membership sa such bodies. So actually, pina-finalize pa siya hanggang ngayon.
So ano nagiging batayan, sir?
Ang batayan lang naman is kailangan safe yung driver and passenger. Kailangan buhay.
Importante talaga, di ba? Ang buhay. Oo, di ba? Sumakay ka lang ng jeep, tapos hindi ka pala safe. Ang hirap naman nun.
Yes.
Okay. Ma-explain nyo naman sa amin itong tinatawag nyo na finite element analysis.
Actually, yung project po is a Finite Element Design
finite.
Center.
Okay.
So, nagkaroon tayo ng pondo from the government. So, bumili tayo ng mga advanced facilities such as yung supercomputer, meron din tayong 3D scanner and then 3D printer. Okay. So, using yung software natin, pwede na tayo makapag-test. We call it the simulation or virtual testing. So, ang advantage natin dito is kahit ideas pa lang yung product mo. Say, for example, nakagawa ka ng levitating jeepney.
Oo.
So, safe ba siya? Parang ganun. So, ideas pa lang, matetest mo na yung product using standard test protocols. So, wala ka pang R&D cost.
Okay.
So, ganun ka advance yung finite element.
Pero sa ngayon, may mga different companies na ba na dumaan sa ganitong klase ng testing?
Actually po, for first world countries, standard na siya.
Okay.
Ginagamit na siya since conceptualization stage ng product.
Okay. So sa ngayon, may mga dinedevelop pa tayong stages with this project.
Yes po. Actually, meron tayong mga key projects na tinatawag na sinusupport ng finite element natin.
Pero sa kabuuan, paano makakatulong itong klase ng testing na to, itong finite industry finite element analysis?
Sa kabuuan po kasi, alam naman natin na masyadong magastos mag-R&D.
Correct.
Yun yung wala sa atin. So using finite element, ma-refine natin yung mga improvements. So hindi na tayo mag-build and then test. So using yung finite element analysis, malo-lower natin yung cost and then masasabi natin na safe na yung product, may quality, and then durable na siya. Bago natin i-actual prototype and test.
Wala ba tayong mandate na kailangan talaga lahat ng lumalabas ng mga sakyan, kailangan dumaan sa ganitong uri ng pagsusuri?
As of the moment po, wala pa siya.
Okay.
Pero may ginagawa naman po yung government para masama siya sa standards.
In general, ano yung magiging benefits nito, lalo sa mga sa publiko na araw-araw nagko-commute?
In general, masasabi natin na through this project, mapuprove natin yung safety ng ating mga local vehicle. So, to minimize yung injuries, and then yung mga, of course, yung death. So, yun yung pinaka-importante.
Pero basically, ano yung nagiging mission natin pagdating dito sa proyekto na ito, ang DOST, MIRDC?
For sa finite element design analysis kasi, masyadong malawak yung areas niya.
Okay.
So, isang area lang po yung automotive. So, pwede natin siyang gamitin sa aerospace, satellites, even yung mga rockets and explosives. So, pwede natin siyang gamitin.
So sa ngayon, syempre, mga public utility vehicles,
Yes po.
yun pa lang ba ang kailangan natin tutukan?
For MIRDC po kasi, yun yung focus natin ngayon. Meron tayong yung advanced transport, katulad ng mga trains
Yes.
na gano'n ng DOST nga po.
Oo, at napakaraming proyekto ng DOST, ng MIRDC, lalo na sa public transport, hindi ba? So isa lang ito, sir.
Yes po.
So sa ngayon, ito lang bang hawak ninyong proyekto under dun sa ating pagtinutukoy na ang mass transport?
Yes po. For mass
Okay.
transport, ito lang po.
Okay. Medyo stop muna natin. Hindi naman stop. Pagpapatuloy natin, sir, yung ating talakayan mamaya. Kaya konting hinga muna tayo, mga ka-forever, dahil pag-uusapan pa natin, pagpapatuloy natin yung ating talakayan. Dahil ang exciting talaga and promising nitong bagong proyekto ng MIRDC. Pero umpisa pa lamang po yan. Let's take a break muna dahil babalik pa kami ni Engineer Clavecillas to discuss more about this life-changing innovation. Samantala, panoorin po muna natin ang susunod na video tungkol sa iba pang projects ng DOST. The Philippine National Committee for IATSS Forum's Leadership Training Program is now accepting applications for the 57th and 58th IATSS Forum, which is scheduled from May to July and September to November 2017, respectively, in Suzuka, Japan. The forum aims to provide the participants from ASEAN countries with a broader perspective and understanding of the role of science, technology, and culture of Japan and the developments in ASEAN countries. The IATSS Forum is open to Filipino men and women who are not more than 35 years of age at the time of application. They may come from any executive or administrative branch of government with at least 2 years of professional experience and are involved in policy formulation and planning work, or they may come from the academic and private sectors. Interested applicants need not have a transportation or traffic safety background. Applicants from any field of specialization are welcome. Interested applicants may apply to Rowena Cristina L. Guevara, PhD, Undersecretary for Scientific and Technological Services, cum Chairman, IATSS Forum, Philippine National Committee. For inquiries, please contact Ms. Corley G. Canilao, Secretariat at telefax number 837-2945 or email at cgcanilao@dost.gov.ph.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for technologies to improve your product quality or seeking advice on how to enhance your productivity? Are you a farmer or a fish pond operator interested in having bigger yield or harvest? Are you a worker in need of support to address the various S&T concerns in your organization? Are you a researcher searching for expert advice or even a partner in your research undertaking? Or a student craving for scientific knowledge? or an S&T expert eager to share your knowledge and expertise.
Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you're looking for answers online and you need a real-time interaction with an expert, you'll find what you need in One Expert. Previously known as a network of experts in science and technology, One Expert or 1E is your online portal to an interactive community of Filipino S&T experts, as well as your gateway to a vast compilation of knowledge holdings. The migration to a new portal and being rebranded as One Expert signifies a unifying platform where clients or users can find, interact with, and avail the services of S&T experts affiliated with DOST.
Our nationwide pool of S&T experts are ready to provide technical advice and consultancy services to Filipinos anywhere they are in the Philippines or even abroad.
Through One Expert, access to experts and technologies, particularly by people living outside of the urban centers where most research and technical institutions are located, will improve. One Expert will likewise bring the services of any accredited expert located anywhere in the Philippines to clients that need S&T assistance. One Expert will also encourage the involvement of local scientists, researchers, engineers, inventors, and other technical people from both the public and private sectors in addressing S&T problems of the country. Further, information and knowledge sharing among local scientists and researchers are also encouraged.
Being an online service, the use of ICT in the delivery of government programs, projects, and services will be enhanced.
Using your browser, whether on your laptop, desktop, Android, or iOS device, navigate to oneexpert.gov.ph to access the portal.
At the homepage, you can find more information about the portal, its major services, featured experts, and feedback from our clients. Just remember, all you need is a valid and working email address to sign up for an account, activate and update your profile. While your account undergoes verification and validation, you may already start sharing and building your digital workspace. So what are you waiting for? Let science and technology transform your life now.
Log on to oneexpert.gov.ph and be part of our growing science community.
Metal products have become part of the everyday life. Ornamental irons, signs and letterings, intricate art disc designs, and many more. These crafts require skill, expertise, and imagination to create, but they can also be tedious to produce one by hand. The foreign market introduced the computer numerical control, or the CNC plasma cutter, to the world to bring mass production of the metal crafts. It has entered into the landscape of the Philippine metal industry. Recently, the Philippine Department of Science and Technology Metal Industry Research and Development Center, or DOST MIRDC, successfully produced a locally made CNC plasma cutter.
The machine building project is a promotion of the local machine building capability of the local industry. We're trying to promote that sophisticated machines such as CNC plasma cutter machine can already be found in the local industry. As part of the project, we went to a series of investigation, benchmarking from different types or brands existing in the foreign market. We benchmark different sheet metal fabrication shop using foreign CNC plasma cutter machine.
From simple designs to intricate curves, the CNC plasma cutter produces smooth cut of metals. It ensures precision and refined artistry.
Having to acquire a CNC plasma cutting machine is a good investment. This machine will bring you higher productivity and versatility in your cutting operation, and as well as safety for your operators.
Instead of holding the torch and exposing workers to extreme heat, operators of the CNC plasma cutter hold the controller. This ensures the operator's safety while crafting a masterpiece.
The development of the CNC plasma cutter machine shows that Filipinos are at par with neighboring countries. We Filipinos, we no longer need to import such machines. It is better to patronize our own machines in order to help our economy also, and also help our fellow men.
The Filipino dares to believe it can be done for every metal craft produced. A revelation of art and skill work hand in hand. And with a locally produced CNC plasma cutter, a bigger accomplishment has been achieved. Ensuring greater productivity, quality, and safety from the DOST to the world.
And we're back. Kasama pa rin po natin ang project leader ng Finite Element Analysis Design Center na si Engineer Ryan Clavecillas. Okay, sir, pagpatuloy natin ang ating discussion, paano kung halimbawa meron tayong mga tagapanood na may negosyo or business na gusto mag-avail nitong FEA, anong gagawin nila?
Pumunta lang po sila sa MIRDC,
Okay.
DOST. Located po sa MIRDC compound, General Santos Avenue, Bicutan, Taguig City.
So open ito sa kahit sino?
Yes
Or
po.
may requirements or meron tayong pinatutupad na classification or ano pa?
Wala naman po.
Wala. Mhm. So
Basta
very
meron
open.
silang ideas na gustong ipagawa and then testing.
Mhm. So
Pwede
magkano
ba ito?
usually?
Depende po sa total man hours yung magiging price. Pero masyadong mababa naman po yung price.
Meron bang ibang mga company na gumagawa nito ng classing testing na to or kayo pa lang?
For private industries po, alam ko meron sila mga in-house. For services, may pangilan-ilan lang po.
Mhm. Kanina sabi niyo nga, dinidevelop pa rin itong design center na ito. As of the moment, ano pa yung mga plano natin? Projects or ano pa? Dito sa FEA, ano pa yung mga plans natin?
Apo. As of the moment, meron na tayo naka-set up na supercomputer. So,
Okay.
for future plans is, plano namin i-upgrade yung supercomputer.
Ano ibig sabihin ng supercomputer?
Ano po siya, cluster po siya ng computer
Okay.
na nag-work using yung software. So, for today, for the meantime po kasi, ang estimate namin is yung isang jeepney po na crash testing is umaabot siya ng almost 24 hours para matapos yung simulation.
24
hours.
Tagal.
Yes po.
Oo.
So, pag na-upgrade po natin siya, pwede na lang siyang ma-minimize into, say, for example, 3 hours. Yan.
Pero ito computerized.
Yes po.
Ibig sabihin, compared sa manual testing, ano yung difference?
Ang difference lang po is, nasa design or conceptualization stage ka pala, makikita mo na yung possible areas of improvement.
Okay.
Pero hindi namin ina-advise na i-eliminate yung actual testing. So, using finite element, mami-minimize mo lang. Say, for example, dati meron tayong 5 na actual testing. Ngayon siguro mga 1 or 2 na lang.
Base sa mga ginagawa niyong study, ano yung usual error or nakikita niyong possible na mali dun sa mga sa mga utility vehicles natin?
For dito sa project natin, ang isang nakita namin sa local vehicle natin is yung safety. Wala tayong tinatawag naming safe zone. So yung safe zone kasi is siya yung mag-absorb ng impact, crash impact. So, in layman terms, ang tawag nila din is crumple zone.
Yes.
Kasi pag nabangga ka, yun yung magka-crumple.
Oo.
Siya yung mag-absorb ng impact energy.
Oo.
So, using yung finite element, nakita namin na for tricycle, jeepney, and other local vehicle, pare-pareho sila wala.
Wala.
Kasi alam naman natin, ginagawa lang sa talyer. So, may bakal ka, welding ko lang,
Correct.
meron na akong kotse. Then, approve na siya for gagamitin ng public.
At yung mga usual ang tawag dito, part ng isang sasakyan. Halimbawa, kasi pagka jeep talaga, very open yan di ba? Kung magkakaroon man ng aksidente, ang impact niyan, halimbawa kung puno man yan, lahat ng tao, papunta sa harap.
Yes po.
Kasama ba yun sa mga pinag-aaralan nyo pagdating sa safety?
Meron tayong mga categories na tinatawag. So, yung first is yung structural lang. So, wala siyang pasahero. So, pero using yung software natin, meron tayong capability na matukoy yung injury ng pasahero. So, going to details, pwede tayong mag-specific, for example, yung mga head injury lang, and then going further, pwede yung mga internal organs using yung finite element.
Pero yung ginagawa nyo bang testing, isang diretsong daan lang or meron pa curve?
Meron tayong mga standards na sinusunod.
Okay.
So, yung typical na standards na ginawa namin dito is yung front impact or yung full collision, na tinatawag. Yung front offset naman is yung, kunwari may kasalubong ka na kotse.
Okay.
Meron ding side impact at saka yung pag rollover or yung roof crash analysis na tinatawag.
Okay.
So, lahat yun is base sa UNEC standard.
And after that, paano yung implementation? Halimbawa nung nag-avail nitong service na to?
Para sa amin, ano lang kami is recommendatory lang kami. Kung ano yung ibigay mo sa amin for testing, bibigay lang din namin yung results. So, nasa consumer na or nandun sa industry kung i-implement nila yung improvements.
Pero kung titingnan natin, parang may standard na structural yung ating mga sasakyan, ang jeep, ang tricycle, hindi ba sir? Pero kayo ba, wala kayong i-recommend na pagbabago base sa ating mga ginagawang pag-aaral na kailangan ligtas yung mga sinasakyan natin?
Yung results namin dito sa finite element, nakita na namin yung mga areas to be improved. So, meron kami mga suggested na areas katulad ng chassis. So, mabago mo lang yung chassis, lagyan mo lang siya ng crumble zone, magiging safe na yung vehicle, hindi na siya katulad ng luma.
Kasi mga tricycle na nakikita natin, sir, syempre di ba parang ang liit? Kung magkakaroon naman ng aksidente, parang ang dali-dali na tutumba na lang basta. Sabihin yung balance ba nun, tama, akma, kung gaano karaming passengers, yung iba overloaded pa.
Actually, for sa tricycle kasi, tsaka other vehicle, may mga implementing rules tayo na dapat sundin.
Okay.
So, actually, sa ibang bansa nga, walang mga tricycle.
Yes.
Kung makikita mo, more on bus and trains sila. Kasi yun yung mas safe. Siguro kung ipipilit pa rin natin na magkaroon ng mga ganong vehicle, lilimitahan na lang natin yung speed. So, makikita naman natin yung sa software kung anong speed yung ideal para safe naman siya.
At meron tayong ano to yung tricycle ni Juan, di ba? From MIRDC rin ito? Tama ba?
Fishered po.
From Fishered, oo. Di ba parang sa dami ng mga nakakausap natin dito sa DOSTv, na medyo rumble-rumble na. Anyways, ano ang mga long-term plan natin or goal pa for this project, ang FEA?
For FEA po, ang long-term nito is to support yung mga key projects ng DOST.
Okay.
Such as yung advanced transport project ng MIRDC, and then mga agricultural products po natin, and machineries. And then, continuing naman po yung proposal natin to upgrade yung facility.
Pero syempre, kasabay nito may mga trial and error kayong ginagawa. Any more challenges pa ba pagdating dito sa proyekto na to?
Ang isang challenge lang po nito is masyadong malawak yung scope of expertise.
Oo.
So, sa sobrang lawak niya, kailangan talaga, it will take time and collaboration sa international body para masabi natin na capable na tayo ng in-depth simulation.
Okay. Sabi nyo kanina, 24 hours yung ginagawa nyo minsan sa isang testing?
Yes po.
Tama po. Paano kung gaano karami sasakyan ang itetest natin?
Yun po, continuing lang naman po yung solving na tinatawag namin.
Okay, at syempre. Aside from this, meron pa kayo ibang mga proyektong hawak under MIRDC?
Meron po yung die and mold training.
Okay.
And then meron din po tayong gear making facility. So, under, ano pa po siya, acquisition ng mga machine.
At itong FEA, meron kayong mga partner agencies?
Yung R&D partner po natin for local vehicle, yung Saraw,
Okay.
of course for the jeepney. And then meron tayong AUV sa Pampanga, si Diming Rich. Tapos sa minibus sa Cavite is yung Stowaway Liner. So sila po yung na-contact namin. And ang ginawa po namin is ni-reverse engineer namin yung mga sasakyan para magamit namin sa finite element analysis.
Okay. Paano ang support ng government natin? Paano makakatulong ang gobyerno pagdating dito sa proyekto na to?
For this moment po, tuloy-tuloy yung proposal namin for the upgrading. Para kung dumami man po yung nangangailangan ng serbisyo, is mas mabilis nating mabibigay yung resulta.
Okay, ayan. Napakagandang proyekto na ito, mga ka-forever. Hindi ba talaga tayo ang pinaka-aim natin, laging manatiling ligtas, lalo na yung pang-araw-araw nating pamumuhay, yung araw-araw na nagko-commute, di ba? Siyempre, gusto nating mabuhay, di ba sabi niyo, sir? Yun yung point natin na maging ligtas yung bawat isa. Any more messages, sir, dun sa ating mga taga-subaybay? Final words po.
For the viewers po is kung may mga requirements kayo with regards to simulation and other R&D related activities, wag po kayo mahiyang lumapit sa DOST, kahit po sa MIRDC. So, willing naman pong sumuporta yung agency.
At ang office ninyo, sir, saan sila pwede makipag-ugnayan?
Sa MIRDC compound, Bikutan, Taguig City po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir. Maraming salamat and more power. Good luck po sa project na ito. Ayan, mga ka-forever, nagpapasalamat tayo at nakasama natin ngayon si Engineer Clavecillas. Ang mga project na katulad po nito is just a proof na development is within reach para sa bansa natin. We wish you and your office the best at sana tuloy-tuloy na ang pagtakbo ng jeepney ng Pilipinas tungo sa national development. Maraming salamat po and good luck. That's it for today. Salamat kay Engineer Clavecillas at kanya mga team members. Good job po sa inyo. Bukas, ibang topic na naman ang pag-uusapan natin, kaya patuloy lang sa panonood sa DOSTv. Kahit anumang panahon ang dumating, babalik kami, kaya nood lang 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. You can visit our webpage at www.dostv.ph and subscribe to our YouTube channel, www.dostv.ph/YouTube. Or follow our Twitter and Instagram page, DOSTVPH. And like our Facebook page, facebook.com/DOSTVPH. Kaya click na at mag-login para lagi tayong magkasama. Dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, taga-rawan at tag-ulan, hindi nang iiwan kahit sino ka man. Kami ang DOSTV na laging nandyan. May bagyo man, kulog o kidlat, hindi namin kayo iiwan. Dahil laging tandaan, weather is forever.